Okay, what we're going to do with this video is we're just going to go through a particular week out of the Australian dollar. We're going to review its activity and look at what happened, and we'll show you how quick view works inside of the market and help you get an understanding how to go through it day by day. Let's start here. We're going to go to the 18th of January. That's a Monday. Now, basically what we do when we start out on a day, when we get our information, of course all of this data down here wouldn't be visible to us, but neither would this, but nevertheless this will be visible to us. Okay, all of that whole row. Okay, so what we want to do is, first of all, we look at where was the close, and we look at what happened. Okay, those are the first two things we want to look at. Then we'll consider looking at, as we work from left to right, what our potential highs and lows are here, and very importantly, our support and resistance areas that were created for the day. Now, as far as determining that we see as we move along, what kind of direction we want to look in, or our bias, we deal with this column here. Okay, this is a column that deals with the trend. As long as we have a series of black numbers here, like here, we're looking at pretty much an uptrend for the most part. Now, this, of course, is something that we look at and gives us a hesitation when we see two numbers exactly the same. They both have to be the same color. Okay, that gives us hesitation when we see that. And as you can see, on that day, you got an opposite reaction. Okay, from here and here, we slide right over to here and here. That's one thing we want to look at. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is we want to make sure there are no squeezes. We look at the bar formations inside bars and narrow ranges, and we look at the strength. Here we topped out, we went from the top to the bottom, and then we went from the bottom to the top. And as you can see, you'll see that in just a moment when we get a little closer into that. I'll remind you of this particular pattern. Here, again, the entries we take with a grain of salt because it is too defined. The market is so infinite that to simply say sell resistance, buy support, these are low percentage calculations. Basically, we really want to incorporate the things that we see as we move along. Now let's go back over here to our numbers for our support and resistance. We see support at 91.88 and 91.90. This is an analysis that you need to understand the relationship between your potential stops and limits and your areas of support and resistance. When these numbers come together like this, 91.80, 91.90, and beneath it 91.52, not far away, this is a strong area. It should hold it. If it does not, then we have some serious movement potentially to the downside. And same thing when you see this at the top. Okay, if there were numbers up here that matched with this. Okay, it has to be on the same row though. Alright, and we also like to confirm our numbers with our biases and our price channels, which we do. 91.92, 91.70, 91.88. You see how this is coming together. 91.90. Okay, and then after that we want to look one more time and see if we can get another confirmation, which we do not, but 91.29, that would be a good place to put in a stop. It's within the maximum stop range that we would have between 91, say 88 to 91.28 or so, which would only be roughly about a 60 pip range, and we're looking at a 90 pip maximum stop range. So buying long there would be good. Now, why are we buying long? Well, let's slide over. We would be buying long for two reasons on this day, and this is how we really are able to make determinations of whether we're buying or selling. And that is, it's kind of like, you know, how you make the little T. You on the left side, the pros and the cons, so to speak. Here we have this short bottom after the top motion. This is showing us signs of bouncing around with the price, which means that we could look at things coming back long. We also see selling resistance, so that's 1 against 1 now. Okay. Then we have over here the fact that we are still in the long area, the bias. So now we're 2 to 1, 2 against 1. Now we see transition. Well, transition from what? We don't know, because it was long transitioning to go short, and then it turned back transitioning from the short to go long, which created consolidation. Consolidation pretty much nulls out any real trend. So what do we want to do? Well, we definitely want to consider this support level because it's showing very, very strong. Because we're also getting selling points such as the sell resistance and also this beginning of a new downtrend, possibly by breaking that area with that -2, we can sell and buy. So we would buy long and we would sell high. Well, is this really selling high? Well, 92.51, 69, and 88. Anything through this area, you'll notice that you see it again. 92.85, 92.88, 92.56. Now this is the cream popper right here, because it's a Lone Ranger fitting up with our 3-layer resistance. And again, 92.59, 92.70. We're in a perfect dead heat consolidation with beautiful supports and resistance to ping pong off of and make a profit. As you can see, this day went as low as 91.74, that would fill the 91.88, and went as high as 92.79, which would fill the 92.56 without going over, because both of these numbers you should not get stopped out with those entries unless you're being silly about your stops. You know, you have a maximum stop range of 90 pips here. Even if you only used half of that, you would still maintain and be within these limits. And between that distance of 92.56 and 91.88 is a 68 pip difference for a 68 pip gain on the day. Even though the market gained 50, we're looking at a 68 pip gain. The next day,